Last night, the House committee trying to get to the bottom of what happened on January 6th. The insurrection there held their first public hearing in prime time, 2 hours, heavily produced. Jon Taylor is the political science and geography chair at UTSA. He joins us now. Last night we talked to him about what was happening in Uvalde and some of those hearings. Let's talk about what you heard last night. Your initial reactions to what you saw.
It was fascinating to watch, almost political theater in some regards. I mean, some have said it's like Watergate, or somewhere like back in 1972 and 73 and 74. Not the same thing. You're talking about in the 70s with Watergate, a break into the Democratic National Committee, a cover up. This is nothing like that. As the chair of the committee last night said, this was an attempted coup d'etat, in his words, by a sitting president of the United States. Those are incredible words to say. Particularly for our country's politics.
What do you think, or can you explain what you believe the committee's end goal is here? Because this is certainly, like you said, something that we've never seen before, something like this produced in prime time. We know that there are a handful of more hearings scheduled. So what's the end goal for this committee?
Well, the end goal ultimately is to get to the bottom of what happened. Was there a conspiracy? How much of a conspiracy? How far did it go up? Did it go all the way up to Donald Trump? Where there's smoke, there's fire. It suggests maybe there was. That the whole thing about a so-called stolen election, even Trump's inner circle, even his own daughter said, no, that wasn't the case. So the idea is, the committee is going to be recommending potentially, if we're talking about having findings that suggest a conspiracy, that suggests criminal activity, you could easily see indictments and potentially all the way up to Donald Trump. On the other side, Republicans would argue, no, this is a witch hunt, and that turnabout's going to be fair play going to 23 if we take over. That the Democrats are doing this because it's a way to take away from issues related to inflation, to crime, to concerns about high oil prices, those sort of things. And so both sides are already crafting their message. The issue is, did anybody listen last night?
Do you get a sense of that? Because obviously you have Ivanka Trump, like you said, on camera under oath saying her father did not win the election. And you have, the most powerful part for me were the tapes of the riot itself and some video that we had not seen before, along with the testimony of the officers who were under attack by their fellow Americans in this whole thing. Do you think there's some reverberations that are happening because of this?
I would say yes. I jokingly said to y'all, and I'll say it on the air now, it's going to be rather an easy Thanksgiving at the Trump family at Mar-a-Lago.
At the very least.
At the very least. And you have, you had President Trump this morning, actually, or last night, essentially discounting what his daughter said, attacking his former attorney general. It's just beyond what we would normally talk about in political science, to say the least, at least in the United States. And this is why it's so concerning. Did people really get an idea of what happened? From what the video shows, from the stuff that's been not shown before, from the testimony that has not been released before, it's disconcerting as to the stability of our democracy going forward.
Who's the audience for this? Because I don't think you're going to change a lot of minds on the far right or the far left. I mean, was it for middle America? Is that who this presentation last night was aimed at?
I'd argue that it's aimed at those people that may have, in fact, voted for Donald Trump, but feel uncomfortable about what happened. Also, those people that may have voted for Joe Biden, but are not necessarily strongly committed and are very concerned about the country. In other words, what we kind of jokingly refer to as the mushy middle. That they're those swing voters, those not necessarily independent voters, but those voters that are concerned, that are going to potentially change their mind. We know about maybe 30% or so of Americans are convinced that the election was stolen, that that Trump is actually the legitimate president. You get about 40 to 45% who are basically like, no, well, that wasn't the case at all. Then you got a percentage that are like, they're not quite so certain. Sell me on inform me and let me make up in my own mind.
You certainly, as a political scientist, you study politics, but also the history of politics. And I'm just curious what your take is on the implications this could have for our entire political system, but also for former President Trump, because there are certainly people hoping that he may run in 2024. Obviously, if this gets to the point that you mentioned, potentially indictments, things of that nature, that's a different conversation. But what do you think is this, excuse me, were there enough evidence presented last night to really have an impact on any potential support for the former president?
I'd say maybe a little bit. Let's see what the rest of the hearings. I know we have about 8 or 9 more of them or so scheduled. Let's see what other evidence comes out. That said, Trump has already claimed that this committee, as well as Republicans, have claimed that this committee is designed to prevent Trump from running in 24. He's been waving for now 2+ years the whole thing about a stolen election. If we're talking about legacy, if we're talking about history, there is nothing like this in the sense of this kind of attempt at, to be blunt, subverting an election outcome. I cannot, at least in our history, now history of other countries is a different matter. In our history, there's been nothing like this. The only thing that might even come close was 1876, Tilden versus Hayes. And in that case, yes, there were contested electors, but you didn't have riots in the streets and you didn't have an attack on the Capitol.
Yeah, it was certainly a not so peaceful transfer of power, that's for sure. Jon Taylor, political science professor at UTSA. Always appreciate your time, John.
Pleasure.